Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. As you can tell by the level of my voice, this is going to be a little bit of a quieter review, mainly because it's 11:30, it's getting on midnight, my family's asleep, so I don't want to bug them or disturb them. Um, but I don't know if you could tell on my face, but uh, I just yeah, I just went through a great deal of emotions while watching this, and that film being Close, which was directed by Lucas Daunt. It was also co-written by him. Um, he did a feature back in 2018 called Girl, which I didn't check out or haven't seen yet. Um, but Close tells a story of two young boys, one of them named Leo, who we follow through the majority of the film, and another boy named Remy. They are, like deep best friends. They have a great intimacy and a great bond that they have forged. And that bond inevitably, um, there's a lot of, um, there's a lot of touching. There's a lot of a certain activity that's taken within their relationship, which leads to once they enter society as it is, there's questions that arise. There's a question of their sexuality in particular, and this causes Leo to adopt a certain line of thinking, which leads to what the film is about, which is about one's innocence and about how they can lose that innocence through adopting that line of thinking because of societal pressures that are put upon them. Um, and as the film started, it is fairly ordinary in terms of its taste. Like it's a taste that I have had. Uh, I've caught wind of it or have had in other endeavors, and it was fine. I mean, its pace was fine, and I was more impressed with its aesthetics than it was with its other ideas. Um, but then something happens. I won't again. I feel like it's something. Um, like this is a film that I think that you should just know little of, more beyond the fact that it's about one's innocence and how they lose such a thing. Um, without spoiling anything, um, it is also a lot to do about grief and a lot to do about guilt. And there's a moment where those ideas come to the forefront. And when that moment happened in the film, I was literally crying 5 minutes after such a thing happened, and I was still crying, and I continued to cry throughout the rest of the film because what the film does so brilliantly and just quite astonishingly, really, is that it just keeps you at this emotional level throughout. It doesn't let go of you. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't try to manipulate your feelings. It has a tenderness to it that continuously delivers on such a richly deep, moving level that I mean, I just kept crying. I just was like continuously having to wipe the tears from my face, and um, it's a very rare achievement for me emotionally because usually a film um, has to build upon itself by a certain point, build upon itself for me to like become emotionally invested. When one moment literally changed my entire state. Like that's such a rare thing to find in film when a moment changes everything for you. It flips everything, um, and it's presented in that way. It's meant to flip the whole feeling of it. And I'm glad that my feelings changed from average, like I was fine with it, to completely and utterly invested. I found everything to just just to be elevated because of this change in, or this narrative, choice. It made for performances to become so much more gripping and so much more authentic and so much more felt, um, and like the emotional center that this film holds is just it's just brilliant. Like I just cannot find myself um, like calming down. I was just continuously crying and continuously um, feeling for the characters, especially for Leo. It's a character that is going through so much at such a young age, and um, like just the way that everything is set up, the way that they present the its ideas and and why it's choosing it and placing it and where it places it. It it's a fantastic study of its themes, and it has just aesthetics and technicalities that are so sharp, so clean, performances that just gripped me. Um, but I just found the center of it, the emotional center of the heart of it, to be just so overwhelming. And like just talking about it right now, I'm trying my best not to really get emotional because it's just it just left me so raw, and in turn that's how the film represents itself. Through a very raw and real sensibility. It's not manipulative, it's not contrived. It is honest, it is blunt, but more importantly, it is just so understanding. Like it's not just it's not ignorant in its ideas. It's not just about the youth. They also represent other aspects, like they show through the adult's perspective as well. But everything is through the POV of that of a young boy, and knowing that and going through it, there's a, like I said, the initial feeling of it, when and how it sets itself up, it does feel rather ordinary, and it does feel rather familiar. And then a moment happens, and that moment, the title becomes so much more. It becomes so much more deeper. It's not about sexuality. I mean, I know that that's something that people are talking about and talking about this film, and that is a sliver. That's just a whisper in this movie. What this movie is really about is about innocence and how you lose it because of societal pressures and trying to feel and think a certain way, and the guilt that comes from certain moments, from certain tragedies. I must say, without spoiling anything. Um, it is it like it is. I was really really wowed by it, and like I said, it's a very rare achievement for me because of how that moment resonated with me, and how from that moment on, the film never lets down from that. It's not that it has one really great scene. It's the scene that sets up everything, and every scene that follows from that is on that level, and it never lets down. It is so impactful, very powerful, very moving, and like I'm just very moved by it. I'm very very struck by it. So, um, yeah, I'm just very very blown away by it. So, you guys let me know your thoughts on Close if you guys chose to see the film, or if you guys saw the film. My apologies. Um, and yeah, I love this movie. This movie really really hit me out deeply, and even just talking about it right now, it's like just it really really means a lot to me. So it's not that it's just working for me emotionally. Like I said, aesthetically it worked for me. I think that it has the right pace, even though it does feel ordinary in terms of its presentation. Like it's using it in a within the confines of like in dramatic storytellings. It does feel a bit ordinary, but it feels appropriate in terms of its emotional sensibilities. Like I don't need for it to linger and or for it to be so quick. It has a nice tempo, which I admit it is familiar to me, but it works. Oh, my bad. But but uh but yeah, I love this movie. Love it. Love it. Love it. So yeah. So that's gonna be it from me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys know your thoughts on Close if you guys chose to see it. And yeah, so that's gonna be it from me, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until then, sorry about my computer. Until then, guys, I will catch you guys in the next video. Man, that really worked for me. So I'll catch you guys next time.